Hi, everyone. Mitch from Pick Dogs here with Chris. It is Saturday, November 23rd, 2024. It's my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year. It is College Football Saturday, second to last week of the regular season this week. Got some games that will decide a lot of things. We got a lot of teams in trap spots. We got a lot of teams playing senior day today. A lot of teams, their final home game of the season, regardless if they're seniors or not. And all wrapped up with college hoops, NHL, and NBA all in action today. Oh, man. Chris, how's it going?
It's going all right. I believe the word of the day is penultimate. I think that was the word I kept hearing get thrown around for the second last week of the season. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's a great card today. Some decent college hoops as well. These in-season tournaments never make it easier on us. I'll tell you, it just keeps rolling along. But again, I'm not going to complain because I just flash back to the days where we had Madden simulated football. So.
All right. Well, we got Jovan with us as well, and we're ready to roll into it. Chris, we got a hockey card today. I obviously do not follow this much at all. Is there any meat on the bone here in the NHL today at all that anyone should really pay attention to? There's a lot of games. I see a lot of games there.
There's 15 games on the board today.
So today's the day, man.
Yeah.
Do you see? Do you have a lot of premiums in that?
I have three premiums on the website, but I will say I do like the Tampa Bay Lightning at home against the Dallas Stars. The Stars are great, but they're a 500 team on the road. The Lightning play their best hockey at home. Also like the New Jersey Devils on the road. The Capitals are going to be hurting without Alex Ovechkin for a while. You're getting him at a reasonable price. And for that early game, Chicago-Philly, give me Philly at home. Maybe even take them on the puck line. Chicago's lost 17 of their last 20 trips to Philadelphia.
Okay. Sounds like they've lost 17 of their last 20 trips to Philly. Jovan, any NHL for you?
I'm going to ask Chris a couple of questions before I make a decision. It has to do with the Bruins game.
Okay.
The Red Wings, are they still cellar dwellers or are they on the rise?
They're in purgatory. They're not good enough to contend, but they're not bad enough to be a high draft pick.
And since Montgomery's been fired, he did get fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. How many games did they play?
One.
And they lost.
They lost it.
Yeah, no, I know they lost at home.
Yeah. So the dead cat bounce the new coach rub didn't work. And,
right.
Yeah.
Listen, fade the Bruins.
There you go.
That's it. I see plus money with the Red Wings at about $1.20. Fade the Bruins. That's it.
That's the long and short of it.
All right. We move on. We've got college hoops action. Pretty good card once again. It is a really good time of year for college hoops. We got the Battle for Atlantis starts today. It's just one after another the way they're hitting us with these early season tournaments. Got Stetson LaSalle, but the big one early, Georgia Marquette. That one 11 a.m. Eastern time start. Let's see what else we got. Anything else early? Georgetown, St. Francis, Purdue, Marshall at noon. We've got a lot of games, but not a lot of real action here in the early slots. Let's see, Cincinnati, Georgia Tech at 2 p.m. Eastern. And we'll just cut the card right in half. Illinois, Maryland, Eastern Shore, Wake Forest, Detroit. And really, that's about it. We'll go up to about 5 o'clock Eastern. Chris, you see anything on here you like?
Yeah, I like the over in Wake and Detroit Mercy. But that's a Wake team that I think could put up 80, 85 points in their sleep in this matchup. Wouldn't have to have a whole lot from Detroit Mercy to be able to contribute to the over there. But I also lean towards Detroit Mercy catching 24. I think that's asking for a backdoor cover for Detroit Mercy in that one. And going back a little bit further, I'm going to go back to my boys. Give me IU Indy against South Carolina State +4. I really like what Paul Corsaro is doing with this team, bringing up a bunch of guys from D2. So give me IU Indy.
How about you, Jovan? Anything?
I would like to take Georgia to be honest in about 50 minutes. +7 Marquette, they did show something in their last game, I believe. But I see 7 points in for some reason I want to take the Bulldogs. The one that I really like though is Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they've come out the gate hot. Georgia Tech, I don't think they could be trusted at this point. Stoudemire, I don't think he has his fingerprints on this program yet. Probably going to take a little bit more time. But Cincinnati, they've been running roughshod on teams and, step up in class. But, compared to the other opponents, but I think they get it done in this one.
I'm with you on Cincinnati as well against Georgia Tech. I agree with just about everything you said there. I don't think it has anything to do with Stoudemire. Maybe he does get the program in better shape than this, but it's just Georgia Tech's had the same problem for the last 10 years. It's like they're 3 players away from being a good team. It's like they might have a bunch of guys that could play situationally. They'll like hold it together. They'll do some of the things that you need to do really well in small doses, but against the better teams, they're going to get beaten up. And, Cincinnati, I think a lot, is a Big 12 team, and the Big 12 is the toughest basketball conference. And Cincinnati looks ready to play in that conference this year. Cincinnati, traditionally a basketball powerhouse and, nationally ranked this year. Wes Miller, they went all in to get him. They went lawsuit all in, to get him. So he's finally paying dividends there in Cincinnati. I'm on the Bearcats in that one. I also like Lowell against Quinnipiac. This is one that, I don't know. It's like I would have had it as a premium, but it's one of those ones you put in as a premium and like everyone that buys it lives in New York or something, So it's just one of those games. So I just left it off, but I think Lowell is the better team by a lot. George Mason taking on Ferrum, stepping it up. Wagner against Springfield College. We got I also next time slot we got North Alabama UL Monroe, Temple versus UMass. This one I believe is a battle for Atlantis game. DePaul versus Northern Illinois. We've got Long Beach State, what up, Beaches? Up against Fresno State. Loyola Chicago, Tulsa. GWLL. UNLV, New Mexico State. Columbia, an upstart this year, up against Stony Brook. Cleveland State versus Kent State. Got Stephen F., Youngstown State. Cal Poly versus St. Mary's. BYU, Mississippi Valley State, 45 points. Is the line in that one. 6 touchdowns and a field goal. And Santa Clara, Stanford rounding out the night. Chris, anything there?
The second half of the card trumps the first one by a mile. Give me BYU minus 45 against Mississippi Valley. I think they'll probably win that game by 60. Give me UNLV laying the points over New Mexico. I really like this UNLV team. New Mexico, I just don't think they're going to be able to cut it offensively. I think UNLV pulls away. I think this one's over by halftime. So give me UNLV laying the points there. And give me Temple over UMass. I'm not ready to give up on Temple just yet. I think they're a more athletic team, and I really like that. Temple team. So
on the front end of the back-to-back. Is it the front end of the back-to-back or the back end of the back-to-back? Back end to play Florida State.
Yeah, that one's in Connecticut. The Basketball Hall of Fame tip-off or something like that.
Really? Because the Basketball Hall of Fame's in Springfield, which makes that an awkward situation.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what the tournament was called. Yeah, the Hall of Fame tip-off.
Yeah, we'll just call it whatever the hell we feel like.
It's them, Florida State, and UMass.
Gives me gas. Jovan, anything for you in this slot? It's definitely a better slot than that early one.
I liked what I saw at UC San Diego. I'm forgetting his name, the coach's name, but he's one of those guys who's been around. and looks like is it Lapis? Is it Steve Lapis? Is he the coach of UC San Diego?
Lappin. Oh, the guy who was
That's Steve
UCLA coach.
Lappin.
Lavin?
No, it's something Olin. Olin's his last name.
It's somebody who's been around the block. That's what I know. And last year we was able to get money off him in a couple spots, and we got the money with him against JMU, against James Madison last game. So if they could beat James Madison, they could damn sure beat Toledo. So I'll take a fly on them. It looks like a little bit too many points with that Loyola Chicago's laying. I haven't really dug deep on Tulsa that much. Out of all the teams that I have dug into, Tulsa has been one that that I've missed. But perennially, I guess you could say that they're a decent program. So I would lean Tulsa and have to do some backtracking on that. Other than that, nothing much. Columbia has looked like a team, to be reckoned with in the Ivy League. Let's see what they could do there. But 11.5. Can they beat up Stony Brook? I think so.
To me, I'm looking at Cleveland State. These guys aren't bad, we saw them play the other day. It's tough to 100% buy in. I get it, but they're going to compete, and we saw them do it the other night against much better than what they face here. I just can't see them losing this one to a MAC team. I know they're 3-3 on the season, but they're 4-1 against the number. And the line is rising in this game. Get 2. I'm going to take the 2 with Cleveland State, up from 1.5. They don't score a ton of points, but that's okay. It's okay to not score a ton if you don't give up a ton. And that's pretty much what they do. They don't give up a ton, which I always think is tougher. There's no way I'm laying the 6 touchdowns in a field goal, though it is tempting. Long Beach is terrible this season, too. Terrible.
They're playing with Fresno, no?
Yeah, how about the ball kind of finding their footing this season, right? It's odd.
Is that Chris Holtman, or is that just actually waking up and figuring out how to play basketball again?
Well, the school is located in a prime recruiting area right in the heart of downtown Chicago, man. It's just, all they got to do is keep players home. You imagine if they keep guys home, how good that team can be? It's like, I've said that forever, it's like in the NIL era, all they got to do is pay a couple guys to stay home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, the problem that they have is that, they usually come out the gate hot, or at least, relatively well in the non-conference. Then they get to the Big East or wherever conference that they're in and get smacked up.
That's exactly what I say every year.
Yeah.
They've had one winning season since they joined the Big East in conference play.
Yeah, well, there's probably some other teams like that, too. There's probably a few others. All right, we'll move it over to, what do you want to do, NBA or college football first?
Don't matter to me.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
We'll do college football. It is Maryland and Iowa, Florida Ole Miss, Rutgers Illinois, Syracuse UConn, Miami Wake, Jack State Sam Houston, Ohio State Indiana, Virginia SMU, BC, North Carolina. We'll just go with those games. We'll go around the horn on it. Everyone just pick one, and we'll just keep going until we have nothing else to say. Chris, you can start us off.
All right, I'll go with SMU laying the points against Virginia. I think this SMU's team is one's going to need some style points. On the outside looking in at the last college football playoff ranking, it'll help them if they can find a way to make the ACC title game. But I just think they take it out on Virginia here. SMU's looked really good offensively. We've seen Virginia struggle in spots against when they have to take the step up in competition. So give me SMU laying the 10.5.
Jovan?
Yeah, looking at this Iowa and Maryland game, I would like to take Iowa, and I would lean that way. The problem is whenever they face Iowa, they usually get smacked up. But I was having a problem with their quarterback situation. But they always have a problem with their quarterback situation. They they took an L last week, so I don't know if I want to get in their way. So it's just a lean at best with the Terrapins. The head coach advantage, it points to Iowa, but I could see this going both ways. I just think that the home dog might be a little bit tempting in this one.
I'm going to go with Ohio State over Indiana. I've gone against Indiana almost every single game this season. It's really bit me in the ass time and time again. And I was ready to go Indiana, and then all of a sudden I just woke up and just said, you know what? I think it's Buckeyes in this one. I think they just beat them up. And then Indiana goes to that precarious spot of being a non-name brand team with one loss. And that is a problem for them, a big problem. One thing to be Alabama with 2 losses. It's even one thing to be Ohio State with 2 losses, or Oregon with 2 losses, Oregon would probably struggle with 2 losses. Certain teams are going to get priority with 2 losses. Some teams are not. Indiana's not. I'm going to take Ohio State in this one. Probably lets SMU in the playoff. SMU, Miami, both in. Jovan? Or Chris?
I clicked the wrong tab here. Give me Miami. Another team that I think is going to pick up some major style points today. I don't think Wake Forest is going to be able to score anywhere near enough to keep themselves in this game. 23.5. This one could be done and dusted by halftime. Give me Miami laying the 23.5.
Jovan?
Yeah, and I agree with Chris with SMU. It's just a situation where you have a Virginia team who they're gonna allow SMU to score some points. The thing about it is, can they hang with them? Now I think they can, but I think in the latter stages of the game, they're gonna fade. So that's how I think the game script's gonna go. They're gonna hang in there, and then that fourth quarter or late third quarter, into the fourth quarter comes, and then that's it for those folks over there in Charlottesville. So I'm overall with SMU.
I'm going to take Florida money line over Ole Miss. Big time look ahead spot for Ole Miss, and as they head to the Egg Bowl next week. And for Florida, they need a win to get to be bowl eligible. And if they can get 2 wins, if they beat Florida State next week, they'll be 7-5, which really is not a bad run considering look at the schedule they've played. I mean, not just Ole Miss this week. They played Georgia, they played Tennessee, they played Texas, they played Texas A&M, they played everybody. Basically, the anti-Penn State schedule they played. You take everyone that Penn State played, and like say those opponents are ranked, 120 through 134, and you take Florida and the ones that they've ranked, and I believe, they've played more top 10 teams than anybody. And I think Ole Miss just another day at the office here. I'm not a big Lane Kiffin fan. Not saying he gets fired at the train station. I just say maybe they don't make the playoff. Could happen. Chris, anything else here? A little Rutgers action for you, Illinois?
No, not for me.
Little Big Ten orange
Don't-
versus red.
Do not force my hand on that.
Jovan, Syracuse, UConn. No Jim Boeheim. He's gone. It's a different Houston.
All going. That's the wrong sport. Nah, I actually remember that one.
It could be Ted Lasso all over again, man. It could be Ted Lasso.
So looking at this Illinois Rutgers game, I would like to say Illinois if it was 4.5 earlier in the week, but now it's crossed that key number 3, and I don't want any parts of it. And you would say that years past this would be a dead under, at 47.5, but it seems that Rutgers can't seem to stop allowing teams to go up and down the field on them. And in certain spots the same could be said with Illinois. So 47.5, I think it gets to 49. Take the over.
All right, we move on to the next slot. Got UMass against Georgia, Tennessee against UTEP, Liberty, WKU, Florida State, Charleston Southern, UAB versus Rice, Ball State, Bowling Green, App State, JMU, Middle Tennessee versus New Mexico State, Kennesaw State versus FIU, Southern Miss versus South Alabama, Arkansas State, Louisiana Monroe, Florida Atlantic, Charlotte, TCU, Arizona, Kansas, Colorado, Coastal Georgia Southern, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Arizona State, BYU, Minnesota, Penn State, Utah State, San Diego State, South Florida versus Tulsa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, North Texas, East Carolina, Stanford, Cal, Texas, Kentucky, Michigan, Northwestern. A lot of games in the slot. West Virginia, UCF. Chris, they take that Nebraska, Wisconsin game and they flip out that Rutgers, Illinois game. Does anybody even notice?
I was just going to say that. They're doing the Spider-Man meme where it's just like they're pointing at each other.
It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't see the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always that one time slot where it's just like we start on it and we're like, wait a minute, we forgot to check how long this thing is. I'm gonna go with I lost my place. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna go with UMass plus the 42 against Georgia. The nothing game for Georgia. They got clean old fashioned hate next week against Georgia Tech. We've seen UMass last week against Liberty. Granted, it's Liberty and Georgia. I know it's not comparing the same, but it was a throwaway game for Liberty. They only won that game by a single point. Georgia at times has been guilty of playing with their food a little bit and not taking games seriously. 0-3 in their last 3 games against the number as a 28 plus point favorite. I'm going to take UMass here. Even a 45-3 or 44-3 kind of game gets you there. So give me UMass in the points.
Jovan?
Yeah, I cannot in good conscience lay the points with TCU. Arizona, they got their first cover last week, and I think they keep the dice rolling. Real disappointing season for the Wildcats, but I think they keep it close and threaten TCU in this one.
I like Cal minus the points versus Stanford. You have to lay that hook, but I don't even think it's going to matter. Stanford is absolutely terrible. Cal at least has a good defense. I'm going to take Cal in this one. I just think that they'll be able to throw the football, and Stanford isn't going to be able to do anything. Chris?
Let's see here. Give me the over in BYU Arizona State. Arizona State 27 plus points in all their home games this season. BYU, they can put points on the board as well. I think this one's getting closer to the mid to high 50s, if not into the 60s. I think this one's going to be up and down the field. So give me the over between BYU and Arizona State.
Jovan?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Kentucky. They're gonna have to play boss defense, and I think they could do that. The fact of the matter is who has Texas really played? And we've gotten money just off of that premise.
Well, they beat Colorado State. Pretty good.
Yeah. Well, but dealing with this team, that their best win isn't looking so good, compared to other teams. So laying this big number and it's going down. It was that 20 and a half, and now I'm looking at 18 and a half in certain spots. So I mean, you could look at that one or two ways, positively or negatively. But I think that it's the right side. That's the right move anyway. So with their defense, and we've seen Kentucky do it against one of the best, Georgia. Keep it within one score, 1 point. We've also seen them fall flat on their face. So it is at home, it is at in Austin. That might be a problem, but I think defense travels, and I think that they cover this one.
I like Michigan against Northwestern. This is a lousy Northwestern team. This is senior day in Michigan, last day of the season, not last game before next week's walk into Columbus, sacrifice to Ohio State, the end of their winning streak against the Buckeyes, more than likely. And, Michigan getting Underwood to sign with them this week was massive, but, Northwestern, this one's more about, this is like one of those Michigan games where they kick the crap out of somebody. They act like they've actually done something, but actually it's their 6th win of the year, for the defending national champions. But I rarely take Michigan, but I will today. Chris?
Give me Kansas plus if you can get it at 3. I know it's around 2.5 right now, but I'll take if I can get it at 3, especially. Colorado, they want to air it out, and Kansas might have the best cornerbacks in the Big 12, or at least one of the best secondaries. And I think Kansas can run the ball on this Colorado defense that's had issues stopping the run at times this season. Don't get me wrong. Colorado has improved, but Kansas is playing really well right now. And even when they were losing games, they were losing close games. So I'll take Kansas plus the 2.5, and especially if you can get it at 3, that would be a must play for me.
It's like, how did Michigan have 14 home games on a 12-game schedule? It's freaking unbelievable. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. One of these coaches are gonna get fired. In this in this UCF West Virginia game. They might get fired by the end of the day or right after the game, depending on who the loser is gonna be. But looking at this game, and I faded West Virginia to success in this spot many times this season because they've been home dogs, plenty of times, and have come up short. But I'm gonna back them in this spot. They're catching points against a team I think that they can actually beat in this one, and I think that they get it done. So it was 3.5. I like the bet at 3.5. Now it's at plus 3. So I think the money line might be in order. I see that there's really no value in taking the spread at 3. So might as well just go for the whole thing.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's pretty terrible this season, and I'll just take Texas Tech. It's hard to believe Oklahoma State was ranked to start the season. It just goes to show you how off these guys can be when they're doing the rankings. We should have our own rankings. It's like they have like the AP, the coaches poll, and the pick dogs poll, man. Because I think we're closer, when all is said and done. It's like Jay stuffing the ballot box for Colorado, but it would have been okay. It would have been okay this year. Stuff in that ballot box. How about the Hawks last night? What the hell are they doing out there? It's like, I don't even understand it, man. It's like you ever watch a game and you just don't even understand what they're doing out there. It's like, why do they bother showing up? It's so weird, man, right?
Why does the bottom of each ballot say #we coming?
It's like,
Yeah, I don't know. I've given up on trying to figure out what the Hawks have been doing for a while now.
I don't even get it, man. You give up 136 points against the Chicago freaking Bulls. I mean, that's called no effort at all, man. 136 against the Chicago Bulls. They gave up 41 in the third quarter. It's like, what are you doing, man? It's the Bulls. They stink. They got nothing.
They had to dust off that side of the scoreboard. They're not used to seeing those kind of numbers up there.
Oh my God, man. This is so bad. It's like Johnson was the leading scorer on the Hawks, but my guess, I haven't even looked at it yet. My guess is he's like minus 60, you know, minus 21. He's terrible, man. It's like scored 25, but he's minus 21.
They call that maximum effort.
Oh my God, man. Trae Young, 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. Just stop shooting, man. Just stop. Stop.
Oof. Couldn't hit water. He fell out of a boat.
I think you got to break it down, man. In Atlanta, you got to just keep breaking it down. It's like this is not going anywhere.
That's just one of them franchises that will never win a championship. There's a few of them out there.
It seems like the Hawks, like when they fire their coach, then they start playing defense again, and then they tail off, fire their coach, play defense again. You know, playoff team, stop playing defense, fire the coach. It's like this vicious
circle.
It is. I mean, you give up 136 against the Bulls. Someone's got some serious soul searching to do out there. I mean, this is a Bulls team that scored 100 in the track meet game against the Rockets, you know, and that game was a track meet. The Rockets put 147 on them, and it's like, I mean, seriously. Bulls are ass, man. Terrible. Anyways. Young Coastal Carolina, Chris, or not?
I am not today, unfortunately.
Well, it's Parents' Day at FAU in Boca. Should be quite a show there. The Owls getting 3 against Charlotte. I'm going to go with FAU in this one, man. They're just bad enough. They just stink this year. What happened to Lane Kiffin coaching those guys? You know, that was a good spot for him. I mean, think about it. They had Lane Kiffin and Dusty May were their head coaches. This is a good breeding ground for coaches, you know, like for a place for guys to go. Mm-hmm. FAU. Plus, you get to live in Boca. Chris, anything else?
Nah, I'm good to move on to the next one.
No ULM. That's Southern Alabama. Southern Miss. These are the ones. This is the week to start paying attention to some of these guys because we're going to need to know about them in the coming weeks. You know, because there'll be the playoffs, but those happen in just over 2 days. There's still all the other bowls.
Yep.
How many bowls are there this year?
Probably like 46.
That's my thing. It's like, will they have enough teams to fill them? Hold on.
They'll have to have teams with losing records. Purdue will play in the bowl. They don't even have like the bowls anymore.
There's 43.
Wow. That's crazy, right?
Yeah. But that's including the playoff games, I think.
And I didn't even know that. I just threw out a number.
Yeah, so the playoff games that are actually counting are the Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and the National Championship.
So they're saying that Toledo's going to play JMU in the Camellia to get things started. Then you got the Frisco Bowl, the Boca Bowl, the Los Angeles Bowl, New Orleans, the Cure, Gasparilla, Myrtle Beach, Idaho Potato. But there's not like a day with a bunch of games here.
The Weecomin' Bowl.
Hawaii Bowl, Detroit Bowl. Used to be the Motor City Bowl. The Rate Bowl. 68 Ventures Bowl. That's new. In Mobile.
No, I think that's been there a couple years.
I think it used to be the Pilot Pen. Oh, no, that was the Liberty. The Armed Forces Bowl. Birmingham Bowl. The Liberty Bowl. We know that one. The Holiday Bowl. The Vegas Bowl. Fenway Park Bowl. Pinstripe Bowl. New Mexico Bowl. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, which is every day. Arizona Bowl. Military Bowl. Alamo Bowl. Independence Bowl. Music City Bowl. Relia Quest Bowl. There's actually some decent matchups in here that they have projected. Oh, man. So they have Ole Miss projected in this. Aren't they projected as a playoff team right now?
Well, yeah. Well, are you looking? I don't know if we're looking at the same one.
I'm looking at CBS.
Yeah, but the Citrus is a quarterfinal. I think.
No.
I thought
they haven't played in Illinois.
Oh,
Citrus. They're out. Yeah, Oregon. It's
oh, look at that.
Oh, so they have Ohio State. This thing has Ohio State as the 1, and Oregon as the 5. That I'm looking at. It's CBS. Oregon, Colorado, Texas, Indiana, Penn State, Tennessee, Georgia, Notre Dame. How's Tennessee in there? Didn't Ole Miss beat Tennessee?
SEC, they're gonna find a way. You might find a way to have six of them teams in there.
What are they gonna do if A&M beats Texas next week?
Oh, I love it.
There's a very strong.
I think it just made my premium list just for the chaos.
I think there's a really strong chance of that happening. It's at College Station, and they haven't played them for a long time since Texas dropped them from the schedule. They're mad.
So it's all the ingredients. Mike Elko to God.
Yep, they throw all that money around at Texas A&M like no one's business. They'll have all the hit pools going on.
They threw it around with Jimbo Fisher, but he couldn't get it done. Then it took 1 year to get Mike Elko in there, and now he's getting it done.
There's a lot of games like that. I mean, this Indiana, Indiana comes in, even though they're undefeated, they're 11th in the playoff rankings. I mean, they lose today, they're out against Ohio State. They lose on the road against Ohio State. They're out.
No.
Yeah.
No. If they win, Ryan Day's out of there.
Yeah.
Yep. If they win, Ohio State could be out.
No, I'm talking about just Ryan Day. He's not making. He's getting fired on the field.
It's crazy, right? Anyways, go to our next set of games. A lot of possibilities, but today's games will have a big bearing on those. If there's any kind of upsets today, or even that Ohio State, Indiana, we got Kansas, Colorado. We did that one. It's Gus Johnson calling that one because I'm not watching it with the sound. He irks me to no end, man.
Chris Collinsworth or Gus Johnson?
Collinsworth. Gus Johnson's the worst, man. He is just the worst.
Holy shit. I found the breaking point.
He's just an asshole.
Jeez, I never thought I would hear an option that Chris Collinsworth would overrule.
I'd rather watch Tim McCarver and Joe Buck call a game than this guy.
All right. He's already dead. You don't have to beat on him any worse. Jeez.
McCarver?
You don't need to pull out the McCarver and Buck bit. Holy shit!
I like the way that Bob Costas calls the game. That no matter how much you like the sport, there's no way you understand it or love it as much as he does. It's like jerk, man. It's like
talk about Bob Costas. He's way past his prime.
Done, man. He retired. I didn't even know he was still playing, man. Done. I went to Syracuse to apply, for the broadcasting school. Bob Costas went here. I'm like, I'm not even sending in the application, man. I'm out of here. It sucks. They look so proud of it. It sucks, man. South Carolina taking on Wofford, though. That should be a real Donnybrook. Got Arkansas La Tech, Mississippi State against Mizzou. ULL taking on Troy. Wyoming, Boise. ND Army. It's a big one. It's a big one for Notre Dame. They got to win. Houston against Baylor. Should be a good game as well. Texas State, Georgia State. Two states that really are states. Oregon State and Washington State. Four states that really are states. Old Dominion taking on Marshall. Auburn taking on Texas A&M. That should be a good one. Utah, Iowa State. Oklahoma, Alabama. LSU, Vandy. Kansas State, Cincinnati. Duke, Virginia Tech. Fresno, Colorado State. UCLA, USC. Nevada, Air Force. Do you want any of these?
I really wanted to find a way to back Army in this one. The problem is that they're just gonna get beat up in the trenches. They're smaller. Notre Dame. If they play with any kind of effort, they're gonna be in that backfield like nobody's business. So it just shapes up to be one of those games similar to the Navy game. I think that Army shows more resistance because they are a better version of Navy. And they could throw the ball at least a little bit. I want to see a good game in that one. I want to see Army, at least keep it close, within the point spread. But it's a game that I would have to watch the first couple series and see what's going on in order to put money on. It's one of those type of games, because Notre Dame, like you said, they have to win, and they have to win with some style points, I think. So, I would lean Army, but I could that would be more of a heart pick, not a mind pick.
Well, the hook is in on Army at 14.5 now. So if you're going to take them, now is the time.
Wait until game time. I mean, I guess, because they're not going to get Gandy back in at this point. It's going to be all Notre Dame money.
Yeah, I kind of like Army in that one with the points. I think the run defense of Notre Dame is certainly vulnerable. I think Army can maybe grind it out and shorten the game on them. But I like Washington State against Oregon State. Two Pac-12 refugees, but I think Washington State's actually pretty good this year. And I think they beat Oregon State no problem in this one. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to take – where was it here? I'm going to take Pitt plus the 7.5 against Louisville. Louisvle's played 8 straight one-possession games. I had to do some digging on that. Their losses were all by one possession. They lost by 7 to Miami, Notre Dame, and SMU. And even the games that they're winning have all been close as well. I think Pitt can keep it close here. They made the quarterback change from Holstein to Nate Yarnell. Wasn't a drop-off. I think you can pass on this Louisville secondary. So give me Pitt plus the points.
Jovan?
We're going to look at this Colorado State, Fresno State game. It's telling when you have 7-3 Colorado State Rams team who's catching points against a 5-5 Fresno State team who's having a down season. And they're the ones who's catching points. I'm on Fresno State in this one. I think if Colorado State wins out, that they make it to the Mountain West championship game, and no one wants to see that. They want to see UNLV in Boise State again. So I'm rooting for Fresno State to get the job done.
I'll take Houston plus the 7.5 against Baylor. I think Baylor is the better team, but I think that hook looms large. I don't see Baylor blowing them out of the building. I I'll just take a shot here with Houston, who's improved every week, win or lose. Chris?
Give me the over in East Carolina and North Texas. These totals have been going crazy for North Texas all season long. And with an East Carolina team that steadily improved the offense since making the quarterback change to Caden Hauser, I don't think it's going to be any different here. I could easily see this game getting up into the high 70s, even low 80s, like a 41-38 kind of game. So give me the over, East Carolina, North Texas.
Jovan?
I want to back this home dog. I want to back the Cowboys of Wyoming. The problem is it's not a couple seasons ago where they actually had a decent team. If this, I don't know what the weather is going to be. I think it's going to be clear. It was projected to be, some snow in the forecast, but I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be windy, so that's going to affect throwing. But you look at this Boise State team. Not to say that they faded over the last few weeks because they've been winning, but their play has kind of dipped. And even last week against San Jose State, they win the dogfight until that last quarter. Until midway through the third quarter where they started to get separation. So if gun to my head, I would have to take the points in this one. I don't think it's going to be a outright blowout like that. This is being played in Wyoming, in Laramie, so maybe this home dog could show some bite in this one.
I'm gonna take Vandy against LSU. I'm just gonna throw it out there. LSU, I think the problems are much, much worse than what appears on the surface. Underwood decommitting now, from LSU makes it even worse. The issue they have is the $11 million a year they owe Brian Kelly. So it's a buyout's $88 million on a Brian Kelly buyout. And you have an offensive team that's averaging 14 points a game over its last three, man. You got big time problems there at LSU. And Vandy, they've just been a thorn in the side of everybody. And I could see LSU losing at home to Vandy. I mean, it would just be an exclamation point on what's been a meltdown of a season, really terrible. Because a few weeks ago we were saying, well, they lost to USC, but it was the first game of the season. And, things were different then. But now it's like, oh, man, the wheels are off the cart in Baton Rouge. Yeah, I think Vandy goes right there on the bayou and beats them up, heading into that Tennessee-Vandy matchup next week. Chris?
The card just disappeared. Give me, let's put out one more. Give me Marshall plus the points against Old Dominion. Marshall's been a covering machine, and I know Old Dominion needs to win out for bowl eligibility, but Marshall needs to win to keep, controlling their own destiny for a spot in the Sun Belt title game. I just think Marshall's the better team. So catching 3 points with the better team, not a bad place to be. I even put someone on the money line at plus 120. So give me Marshall against Old Dominion.
Jovan, anything else?
I'll throw, and I really don't want to do this, but just how these things go. I'm gonna throw Auburn out there. It just sets up, for the Aggies to take an L, to have a showdown in College Station against Texas, last game of the season. One with 2 losses can't get another one, then another one with 1 loss. And then the Aggies win. So then it'll be a 2-loss Aggies team, a 2-loss Longhorns team, and then let the committee figure it out. That's the script I'm looking for. So Auburn, they have to get the job done. Now this is a bad team as far as I'm concerned. But these step-up spots, we've seen them time and time again. Where the lesser team they come alive. So be on them Tigers in this one. And I'll throw out one more if Chris isn't going to throw out anything else. I'll throw out the Cyclones. It's dipped to 6.5 now. It's not at 7 or 7.5 or anything like that. So look, Utah's just a bad team, bad offensive team. Defense can't hold it together. I think they had their last hurrah in that loss to BYU. So, I'm on the Cyclones in that one.
Chris?
That's it for me.
All right, we go to the NBA, where we've got the Knicks and the Jazz and the Magic and the Pistons. Chris?
Yeah, give me the under in Magic Pistons. Just gonna go right back to it here. I think it's no Cade playing today for the Pistons. Probably why that line is as sizable as it is. But the Magic keep winning games with defense, and I'm not going to change that philosophy here. Let's give me the under 208. And if I had to pick that Knicks Jazz game, I'd lean towards the Jazz plus the points. But I really don't have any desire to be on either side in that thing.
Jovan?
The 5 o'clock game in Utah. I'm gonna take the over. The Knicks. These are one of these games where I think it's gonna be a free flowing type of ball game. A lot of possessions. The Knicks aren't gonna be willing to lay down law defensively. In this one, and that bodes well for the over. So give me the over.
I like the Pistons all day and twice on Saturday. I would just continue to fade the Orlando Magic every single game, just about that they play. I just think they're way overrated, and the great cover team that they were a year ago only helps us this year. So I'm going to take the Magic or the Pistons in that one. Also, no way in hell I'm laying 8.5 points with the New York Knicks against a professional basketball team. That's just not going to happen. I'm going to take the Jazz. It was getting 9, now it's 8.5. And I mean, people are starting to wise up. I mean, the Knicks on the road, and you forget it, man. What world, man? It's the friggin' Knicks. It's not like the Jordan Bulls or something. Got the Bucks and the Hornets, and the Rockets and the Blazers. Rockets been pretty good at home, Jovan. What do you think?
You said Charlotte in Milwaukee, right?
Yep, and Houston, Portland.
All right, so I'm gonna look at this Hornets Bucks game. What the Bucks are starting to come alive, and I know that they played last night. Got the dub, but I think I want to be on them again, even though this is not to say a big number, because we're seeing a whole lot of double-digit spreads in the NBA nowadays, or 8, 9s and such. But I think this is one where they could get, they're at home, so they didn't have to deal with travel, playing still a bad team in Charlotte. They are showing some signs of coming to life, but I think that Milwaukee has it in them to, continue their success. So I'll lay the points.
I'm on the other side of that one. I'm taking the Hornets. I like what they're doing. I like Ball, and I like Miller. I think there may be a player or two away, man, at this point for this team. Milwaukee is waking up, no doubt about it. They certainly have the talent there, but how much of that waking up has happened because they've been playing lousy teams too. I'm gonna take the Hornets plus all those points. I also like Houston to beat Portland. I don't love that one as much. I'm more on the under in that one than anything. Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to take Houston as well. Usually, from what I've noticed with these back-to-back, there's not enough, time between games for the adjustments to think that you're going to see something different in the second game. So I think it's going to be a Houston blowout once again. Keep dominating at home, and I don't see anything to say otherwise. So give me Houston. Yeah, I don't like that number at 7.5 for the Bucks. I liked the matchup with the Pacers yesterday because of how poor the Pacers have been on the road, but I think I'll go with the over 225 in Bucks Hornets. I think there's going to be some points scored in that one.
We got the Bulls and the Grizz. We've got the Bulls and the Grizz. We've got the Warriors and the Spurs and the Lakers and the Chicken Nuggets. I like the Grizz here against the Bulls. The Bulls played really well last night, but I don't see it happening twice in a row here for them. So I'm going to roll with Memphis here, who plays just better defense than what they saw last night against the Hawks. And so does the potato chip crumbs that fell out of my bag while I was eating them on the couch yesterday. Played better defense than the Atlanta Hawks too, as well. I like the Warriors against the Spurs. I think we're just starting to see that with the Warriors, Steph Curry is all-time greatest category type guy at this point in his career. To be able to take another run at it with another cast of characters, just that's what the great ones do, And I don't know where he fits. He's not in Jordan, right? He's not there. He just doesn't do those same things like Michael did. But man, does he, right? It's just it's like he's the type of player, right? Steph Curry, where he does so much so well that it's almost like you take it for granted. It's like you expect it to happen. I said this in my video. It's like if they're down by 2 and he grabs the rebound underneath his own basket, right? And he throws it down the court and it goes all net for the game winner. It's almost like you expect it to happen at this point, because he's just so good at it, right? It's just he's so good at shooting the basketball. He's just it's just next level, man. I got to go with the Warriors. I think the Spurs, maybe are the future, but the Warriors are still the present. And I'm going to go with the Lakers over the Chicken Nuggets. Jay's probably gloating about his Mavericks pick because everyone always hammers him in the Mavericks in the comments every time he takes them. But he sure was right yesterday in that game. And I think the Lakers get him here as well. Chris?
Yeah, I would lean towards the Warriors in that one. Road favorite. It's where they normally play their best. But that's pretty much all I like because I can't get on the Bulls here again. I can't get on the Grizzlies, and that Denver Lakers game just does nothing for me either. So lean towards the Warriors. That's all I really like here.
Jovan?
Yeah, I'm on the Grizzlies. Don't like the number, but I really don't like this Bulls team. They score a lot, but they also give up a lot. And I want the harder working team who, no matter who's on the court, they're gonna scrap. So and that'll be the Grizzlies. So I'll lay it. And I'm on the Warriors. I don't it looks like a funny number, without Wemby. There's that, so tread lightly. But it would be the Warriors or pass.
Yeah, it's not like a top play for me, but it's kind of just one of those things, It's like Warriors are just ridiculous. I mean, you see players that do this, and it's like these are the great ones, that just seem to get it done.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep up the pace, the way they play. If they could do that all season, because I think at some point they're going to burn out if they keep up their pace of play. So that's one thing to watch out for. So for me, I'll be looking to fade them, around February, March, because I just don't think that as a collective they can keep it up as far as what they're doing on the court and how they're playing. They're gonna have to slow it down a little bit, to catch their breath for the postseason.
What are you selling today, Jovan?
Got a whole lot of action. My obligatory 16 plays in college football. So I got 5 in the noontime slot, 5 in the late afternoon time slot. That'll be 3:30 to 4:30 around there. And then I got 5 more in the prime time slot. I will have one up for college basketball and a couple more in the NBA.
Chris?
Yeah, I think I counted 20 plays in total, 14 college football, a couple college hoops, an NBA, and some NHL. So they're all separated differently by package, by time slot. So check them out at Pick Dogs Premium. I think the 3-day and the 7-day are actually less than buying everything individually. So you can get a couple extra days worth of action, get some NFL too.
All right. You got a parlay for us?
Yeah, my parlay will go with Kansas. We'll go with UMass. I'll go with SMU.
Jovan?
West Virginia. I'll just throw a couple out there. West Virginia, and match that up with what's the other underdog? Oh, Illinois. And then I will Arizona and Cincinnati. So Cincinnati's college basketball, Arizona's college football.
I like I'm gonna go with the Utah Jazz, the Auburn Tigers, and UMass Lowell. So 3-sport parlay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you, and make it a winning day. We have tons of other premium picks. You can pair us all up together, all kinds of stuff. Check it all out at pickdogs.com.